How do you choose a culinary school? How are you going to choose the culinary course that you are dreaming about? Or are you looking to do culinaries? Are you looking to do a pastry class, a bread making class, chocolate? That's what I'm going to be breaking down in this video. So right now I'm spending 3 months in Paris doing a culinary course. I'm doing a bread making and viennoiserie course here, Ferrandi. It's taught basically only in English, but we do have some like French immersion where we have French classes both online and in person. So anyway, a lot of people have been asking me a lot of questions about my program and basically how do you choose a culinary school and stuff like that. So that's what I'm going to be breaking down in this video. How are you going to choose the culinary course that you are dreaming about attending? Number one, you need to think about what kind of program it is that you're looking for. So are you looking to do culinaries? Are you looking to do a pastry class, a bread making class, chocolate? When you start getting deeper into this culinary world, you see that there's a lot of very different like specializations that you could go into and different types of classes. The other thing that you need to think about is what length of time are you willing to commit to? So I know that there are culinary schools that have like a 2-year long program or basically kind of like a bachelor's for it, or there are courses like mine where it's very intensive and it's only 3 months. There are other programs that are 9 months. There are some very short-term programs that are 2 weeks. So depending on where you're at in your life, if you're able to quit your job and devote 2 years of your life to this, or if you're able to take 2 weeks of vacation and do this, thinking about that length of time is really going to help you narrow down the types of programs that you should be looking into. And obviously these things are not cheap, so think about the cost. When you're thinking about the length of your stay, obviously the longer that you go to school, the more expensive it's going to be. So think about how you're going to fund this crazy journey. Are you going to save up for it ahead of time and pay for it all at once? Are you going to work part-time as you do it? Are you going to be able to live with family to save on costs? Are you going to have to move into, student housing or an Airbnb? Or can you stay in your current apartment or home and commute? Like, just think about the cost of everything and how you're going to fund this dream before you get in too deep into everything else. Number 2 is location. So for me, I knew that I didn't want to go to culinary school in America. If you're American and you want to stay in America, that's great. That's going to help you narrow things down. For me, I knew that I wanted to go to a different country. Right now I'm in France because I wanted to see cultural differences and essentially systemic differences in other countries' food systems, and especially with the bread making. How are they growing their wheat? How are they going to these bakeries on a daily basis or multiple times a week as opposed to buying bread from the supermarket once a week like we do in America. So narrow down what country, if it's the one that you're currently living in or a different one. And do remember that if you're choosing to obviously go out of the country, make sure that the program that you're looking into is going to support you in getting a visa. So for me, Ferrandi really helped me out with getting a year-long European visa. It's called the Schengen visa. It's not specific to France, so I could also go to a number of other European countries. Oh, another big part of your location is going to be, are you thinking about being in a big city or in a small town? There was another program for bread making that I was looking into that I was really interested in, but the campus that it was located in was in a very small town in the middle of nowhere in France. And the program that I'm in right now is in the city of Paris. So that's another thing to consider is, are you the kind of person who wants to be in a city or in a small town, but also how is that going to impact your education and your weekends and your day-to-day? So for me, being in the city of Paris means that we can go with our chef to take tours of some of the most famous bakeries in Paris, which is an experience that I wouldn't have had if I'd gone to the other school in a very small town. The other thing with going to school out of the country is thinking about language. So do you speak any other languages? So for me, Spanish is my first language, so I could have done a program in Spain taught in Spanish. I chose to do a course in France that is taught in English. It's an international program because I don't speak French. So just think about that. I think a lot of people assume if you're going to school in France that it's going to be taught in French, but just keep in mind a lot of schools have international programs that are just taught in English. So you can look into that. The next really big point to think about is going to be practice versus theory time. So when it comes to these culinary schools, part of your time is going to be spent in the kitchen, cooking, baking, doing your actual hands-on practice, getting actual feedback from your chef. And then you're going to have another portion of your time where you're basically sitting in a classroom with your notebook and learning about theory and science and what are the things happening, behind the scenes when you're making this food. There's a number of schools that do 50-50 practice and theory. I specifically specifically did not want a school that did 50-50. I wanted a school that did mostly practice. So it's mostly me in the kitchen baking bread and getting feedback from my chef. And then a smaller portion of that is us sitting with him in the classroom going through a PowerPoint, because to me, this culinary journey is a lot more about practice and being hands-on. So I specifically chose a program that was not 50-50. One of the biggest things that you need to think about, and in speaking with other people in my current program, this is the thing that made them choose this program. What kind of support do you receive for a stage or an internship after you finish your course? So a stage is basically your culinary internship that is probably not going to be paid very highly, but they can match you into, a very prestigious place where you can learn a lot in a short amount of time. So for Ferrandi, the school that I'm going to, they are very, very focused on getting you a really good stage, and from your very first day they're asking you, think about where you might want to do your internship, think about the location or the things that are important to you, and start thinking through these early on. And then we have multiple meetings with people in the program and with the chef who is going to think about, what kind of internship would be a really good fit for you. So I didn't want to go to a school where you just kind of do a few months or a year and then you're kind of just out on your own and good luck. You really want to choose a place that has that support system and that is going to really help you take that next step after you graduate. And going along with that, just like a school that will have a really good alumni network. So my school has a lot of alumni events, not only in Paris, but around the world, that are helping you network, get connected, helping you land your next job, stuff like that. Next, you really want to think about reputation and vibe. So obviously you want to go to a well-accredited school that has a good reputation that you're going to be proud to put on your resume. But for me, you also really need to think about what kind of vibe you're about to walk into. So there's another school in Paris, I'm not going to name names, but they do have the reputation, and from what I've heard, it is very accurate, of being extremely cutthroat, competitive, aggressive, kind of combative, like making people cry, that kind of stuff. That is not at all the kind of environment that I want to be in. So my school has a reputation of being like very collaborative and open and friendly and stuff like that. And I think you can gauge some of that like from their social media and the way that they portray themselves, but also just in talking to alumni or looking stuff up online or on Reddit in their kind of experience and seeing what kind of stuff are they kind of valuing in the things that they post. If it's too much about prestige and perfection, I think that it is likely to be a very intense environment, and some people thrive under that kind of pressure and environment. I have bad anxiety, I do not. So just think about what kind of environment would be best for you, for your learning and your growth. So those are all the things that I would think about when you are thinking about going to culinary school, and this is a really exciting journey. So I think I'm going to make another full video just about Ferrandi and the specific course that I'm doing and how my experience has been and all the details around that for the people who want to see it. But yeah, okay, thank you for watching.